morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to this week's meeting of Essex Business Forum. A pleasant surprise to find we are 21 in total in number after last week, which is great. So it's nice to see you all. Let me deal with the introduction of the leadership team first, and then we'll get a little bit of competition. Right, leadership team, be upstanding. Meeting, please.
I'm Vincent, I chair the membership committee and I'm also the official timekeeper.
Morning guys, Ben Golding, education coordinator.
Good morning, handsome face of live chat, meeting secretary and WhatsApp moment.
Yes.
Good morning everybody, I'm Terry, I deal with membership and recruitment.
Good morning, I'm Brian, social secretary.
Thank you all. Please be seated. Before we get into the meeting proper, first of all, it's great to see Matt back. And Nick took after his brush with COVID. It's nice to see you both here, which have helped swell the numbers from what we were anticipating last week, which was great. We have a visitor, Paul. Welcome, Paul. I've seen him before. You will hear from him again in just 60 seconds. Right, before we start the meeting, a challenge was put out last week for those so inclined to produce socks that would be worthy of scrutiny, and indeed the winner being worthy not of a prize but just the accolade of
Not of the week.
It changes the whole concept of socko, doesn't it? Right, so if all of you with socks on that you feel are worthy of entering the competition could make their way up to the end there, please. Now, make your way up there. This is going to be filmed, and the adjudicator is the filmer.
Because I'm busy. I think it should be Jane. She lays the
Alright,
down.
Jane, you've got the job.
The sock off.
Right. Pull it Show us your socks.
Come on, Mike, you've got to show your socks as well.
I've got another pair like this at home.
Oh, this is good. Oh, look, Mexican. Habiba. Of course. Very nice with the little brownie face over the top of the shoe. There's very strong contenders here. And in any normal week, this would have won. But unfortunately, the faces of the team, I don't know if you can see, they're bespoke socks with your faces on. Oh my goodness!
Paul's staring at the 2 years. He's bad enough.
Right.
Well done.
I'll put the sock around. Brian's in fact nibbling at your ankles.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Scott's socks look a bit more like a disease. Right, back to normality, or as near as we can get to it. We're going to have the meeting start proper. We start off with the performance lead. Scott.
So April's done, we're into May, which means we wrap up another performance league, and I can tell you that the winner was April. But it was a great month in terms of just getting back into things, raising the level of contribution and numbers that we're achieving. And I can say that more than half of you beat that mark where we're trying to get to a scoring 88 points each month as a minimum. So well done. Positions at the top. In third place, 222 points was Jane Mallion. In second place on 238 was our chairman, Aidan. Well done to you. But the leader scored 261 points. He hasn't started very well for me though, because we're here getting the all bell. I'll pass that around and check it out.
Great. Thank you very much, Scott. Education slot next. Ben.
Thank you very much. Well, today's education slot is brought to you none other than Mr. Paul to do. So, Paul, over to you.
How you doing, Scott? Yeah, thank you, mate. Yeah, I mean, how you really doing? Everything all right? Yeah, it's alright. Yeah, it's a bit lonely stuff sometimes, sat in the office on your own, but got a pain in the arse clients, but generally, yeah. Okay, muddling through. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It is a problem when you work for yourself or you're the boss of a business, is that it can be quite lonely. You've got no one that you can moan to or moan about. You're the top dog. And all the responsibility is yours, and it can be difficult to stay motivated sometimes, and it can be difficult to switch off because your name's above the shop, and if you don't do the work, nobody else will, and so forth and so on. So I want to talk to you today really about sort of looking after your own mental well-being. It's massively important because unlike when you develop a rash or you sprain your ankle, what goes on up in here can be very, very difficult to actually recognise needs some attention until perhaps it's a little bit too late. So I've got some top tips for you on how to look after yourself when you're the boss of a business. And to make sure that you don't end up in a situation where dark clouds start looming and everything becomes a little bit desperate. So if you work from home, just be mindful of the physical space you're in and step away from it when you finish work and home life begins. My decision to get a wooden crate at the bottom of my garden, which I work on, was purely done for that reason. I spent 20 odd years of my life leaving the house in the morning, going to work, leaving work in the evening and coming home. I suddenly found that not having that transition between work and home was very difficult to deal with because I didn't have time to switch on to being in work mode. I didn't have time to switch off to being husband and daddy mode. So try and find a space to work where this is where I work. Over here is where I am not at work. And just be aware of changes in your mental and physical health. Work, running your own business can be massively demanding and very stressful, and you're focused on doing what you need to do. And it can be quite easy to forget to actually look in on yourself sometimes and actually I'm feeling a bit crappy here. I've been battling on, actually I've got a cough, or I've got pain here, or I'm just feeling generally pretty blur. And similarly, a healthy body and a healthy mind, the two very much go hand in hand. And when you're really, really busy, great, business is going great, but if that's at the expense of you actually taking time for yourself to actually look after yourself, stopping going to the gym because work won't allow it, or grabbing meals on the run because you're always busy and whatever, eventually it's going to catch up on you. And also learn to say no to some things, have some non-negotiables. It's all well and good, especially when you start running a business. People say, can you do that? Yeah, I can do that, no problem. Suddenly you find that your order book or your schedule is packed for years to come. But actually, if some of those things are things you really don't like doing, then they're going to become more and more difficult to actually be motivated to do, and it's going to drag you down. So learn to say no. If you don't want to do something, then no matter how good the money might be, it really often isn't worth it. Also, regularly meet and interact with people. For me, coming to EBF is the highlight of my week. It's not necessarily because of the business referrals and all that. It's the fact I actually get to meet people because I sit on my own in my wooden crate, largely working inside my head. So the opportunity to meet people, to chat, to interact, to have that human contact is invaluable to me. Also, take some time out. When I first started working for myself, was about 7 months before I took a single day off other than the weekends. And it happened to be my son's birthday. We were in lockdown, and my wife said, Friday, William's birthday, it's like, oh yeah, I could do, I suppose. Oh yeah, okay. Because being the captain of the ship, didn't feel like I could step away. So take some time out, treat yourself, be kind to yourself, and reap the rewards of actually being your own boss by taking time out. It can be hard because you're always thinking about things you need to do, and if you're not doing them, you're not getting paid for them and so forth. But it's very important because we aren't machines. We need downtime. We need rest and relaxation. And finally, just remember it's good to talk. It can be quite difficult speaking to a spouse or a partner about the stresses and strains of what you're going through in your business, because they're busy with worrying about the stresses and strains of home or other things, or they might not just understand them. So find somebody that you can pick the phone up to or fire off an email to, where you can rant, where you can talk about what's really bothering you. I'm very fortunate. Scott's that person for me, and I'm always there for him. But we have a client in common that sometimes could be quite stressful, and I'll say, "Can it be free to chat?" Yeah, no problem. No, I have 5 minutes. So I'm just basically ranting or letting off some steam, and I put the phone down afterwards, and that's dealt with then. So find someone to talk, and never ever be afraid to reach out to somebody and say to them, "Look, I don't know, I need some help here." We're a great group of people here, and it's a great opportunity to pass business to each other and refer business and help each other's businesses grow. But what point in that if you can't turn around to somebody within this group and say, you know what, mate, I'm just getting bits now, I don't know, I need some help. Because I'm always here if anyone needs to speak. I'm certainly sure that a lot of people around the table will as well. So just look after yourself, and as Arnold Rothstein, an American businessman who actually turned out to be a gangster, once said, look out for number one. If you don't, no one else will. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Paul. Next, membership matters. Terry.
Yeah, thanks, Aidan. Been trying to do this for a couple of weeks, but the lady concerned has been away sunning herself, so I hope you had a lovely holiday, Hannah. I'd like to be able to give you the remainder of your induction pack, which is this wallet, your card collection, little card collection, and a little bag, which you can do what you like because we kept it to the room. So, yeah, welcome to the room.
Thanks, Terry, and formally welcome. You're now inducted. I hope it feels different. Right, now, let's get moving. The business card box I'm going to send round. You know what to do. As it reaches you, look at it, take out, put in, whatever. Right, the 60-second round. I apologise for having started sitting down. I'm going to stay sitting down, but yeah, apologies for that. Vincent is our timekeeper. That's all the line. Vincent is our timekeeper. After 50 seconds you will hear, and after 60 seconds you will hear, and when you hear the last, then wind down immediately. It doesn't mean you stop dead, but just wind it down. Right. So. The Oscar is with Scott. Scott is listening out attentively and will make the award at the end of the 60-second round. But he will be therefore first off, followed by Melissa. So Scott, you're on.
Good morning, Scott from SEO. Talk to you about the conversion machine today. Live chat. We would love it, don't we? If people can find their way to your website, which is most often the biggest hurdle if someone doesn't know who you are and they can get to your site, the best way to turn that browser into a buyer, to turn that guest into somebody that you're actually engaged in a conversation with, is with live chat. It's a piece of cake for me to install and set up onto your site. Cost-wise, you can get live chat for free, but don't The solution I provide costs $15 a month, and it's really good. You can see, if Terry visited my sites, I can see what page he's on and what he starts typing in the box before he engages with me. So I'm already preparing what I'm going to reply to Terry. But if he does put in a question, it pings up on my desktop or on my mobile phone, and I can answer. Live chat is brilliant. Talk to me about it, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. Melissa, you're next, followed by, and today it's fun, we've got the 3 mics on together. So after Melissa comes the first one, who is Mike Hickson.
Good morning all, I'm Melissa Jackson, Kenway Francis, your local insolvency expert. This week, quite apart from our usual run of liquidations and bankruptcy work, I've been asked to deal with 2 separate strike-off applications. This is where a company is no longer required and it needs to be dissolved. This requires an application to Companies House to remove the company from the register. It costs £10, but it has to be done carefully. You have to make sure that the company hasn't traded for at least 3 months, that it's met its full purpose and is no longer required, it hasn't changed its name recently, and that it has no assets. Because if it's dissolved, having assets, they will go to the government, modification is called. So if you know anybody who no longer needs a company because it's no longer trading and they want to wind it up without having to go through a full liquidation process, they can dissolve it by way of a dissolution through a strike-off. That's Melissa Jackson, Kenway Francis, assisting companies and individuals in financial distress.
Thanks, Melissa. Mike, followed by Hannah.
Good morning everyone, Mike Hickson from LSA Systems, based in Billericay, your local IT service provider. As is always the case, I spent many hours this week preparing my 60-second presentation. I got up this morning to have a cup of tea in front of the telly, saw an article on the news and scrapped my presentation today. I thought I'd introduce something a little bit different. So, the 21st of September is World Peace Day, and I'm sure that means a lot more to us today than it would have done this time last year. The 7th of May, which is one of my favourite days, is Roast Leg of Lander. 26th of October is International Print Day, Vince. There's one for your diary.
What year was that?
That's 26th of October. June the 26th is National Cream Tea Day.
Yes.
April the 12th is Be Kind to Lawyers Day, but we'll skip over that one. Anyway, cut long story short, today, who'd have guessed it, it's World Password Day. So if you do nothing else today, think about your password, because nowadays a password shouldn't be a word, it should be a phrase, and a phrase that you can easily remember, but one that hackers can't. Mike Hickson from LSA Systems.
Thank you, Mike. Hannah, you're next, followed by Mike Skinner.
Good morning everyone, I'm Hannah O'Shea from HFO Media. I help businesses with an easier social media experience. This week has been the first one where I've dealt with a very difficult client. Before I went before I went away, I set out this whole month worth of a social media calendar, helping them with getting the engagement rate up. And halfway through it, they said, "No, I'm fine, I can do this myself." So I thought, okay, great, that's brilliant. And then a few days afterwards, I got a very strong email saying that the engagement rate wasn't up and apparently it was my fault. So even though I had set up this whole calendar, it's not just posting and scheduling, it's also the tips and tricks along with it. So if you know anyone or yourselves who need some social media help, just get in touch with me. Thank you very much.
Right, thank you, Hannah. Mike, you're next, followed by Mike.
There's Mike. Good morning all. Today I'm going to share with you Mike's top tips for making videos for your business. As sometimes you just need to put out quick, simple content yourself. So number one, have a solid concept and script. It's good to look relaxed on camera, but don't just ramble on and lose track of why you're making the video. Know your audience and what you need to say and get to the point.
Following on from that, number 2, keep it simple. Keep things clear and simple in video format, because unlike text, people can't scan back and forward if they miss something. If they've missed it, it's gone. Number 3, think about the lighting and look. We all remember the Zoom meetings. Half of us were silhouetted in front of a bright light or washed out by a desk lamp by the screen. Just go for gentle, natural light on the face and a clean, uncluttered background. You're representing your business with a pile of empty special brew cans behind you, not really the look you're going for. Number 4, and the best one, hire a professional. Now, for a regular quick output, mobile phones are the perfect tool. They're cheap, easy to use and always to hand. But for projects you want to sit on your website or to use for marketing, put your hand in your pocket and use a professional. You might spray paint a 30-year-old Vauxhall to freshen it up, but you wouldn't a brand new Mercedes, and which one do you want your business to look like? So if you're professional media needs, speak to me, Mike at Blackwoods Media. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Before we call on the next Mike, I'd like to point out that he was the only one who said sausage with white or whatever, please.
Oh.
So, as the politest man in the room, Mike.
Thank you very much. Morning everybody, I'm Mike Rogers from the Mortgage Store. I'm a mortgage broker and I can help you with anything to do with mortgages really. Just following on from Paul's education half hour.
As opposed to your 100.
A few years ago my head started falling apart again and it was another EBF member that took the trouble to sit down and have a coffee with me and put me back together and help me. And I've now believed that I have almost got my work-life balance right, in as much as I spend 99% of my time not working and the other 1% of my time in the arse with people that expect me to work for 1% of my time. So if you want only a little bit of help for a little bit of mortgage that will only take 1% of my time, then I'm your man. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mike. Right, that's the mic over with. James is next, followed by William.
Morning all, James the insurance broker, but I'm going to prove the age-old lie of half the population not being able to multitask is a lie, because I am now RMK insurance brokers and also BHK insurance brokers. So Scott has kindly updated my details, so I'm not RMK insurance with a BHK insurance email address to confuse everyone. It comes in handy because this week I had a restaurant come to me, restaurant in London, does lots of outside catering events. I had a fantastic price from BHK insurance for the restaurant, but couldn't get one for their outside catering. So I put my RMK hat on, got the fantastic price on the outside catering, and I've done 2 policies from 2 different insurance brokers, saving the client lots of money and giving him extra cover. So anything weird and wonderful, anything sensible. James at RMK and BHK Insurance.
Thank you. Thank you, James. William, followed by Ben.
Morning guys, William Verner, your commercial finance and property specialist. 2 short sections today. Doom and gloom. We're in smokes and mirrors world at the moment. You've got South End house prices going up. You've got mortgages slowing, might differ. I've got property valuations, houses are going down instead of up or being revalued down. We've got an expected hike today going up to 1%, so another 1.25%. What you've got here is a situation where you've still got quantitative easing going into the market, and then the hike, they're putting hiking rates to stop inflation. But there you are, you've still got QE going on, where the Bank of England will issue $2 billion worth of fixed income bonds, and then they'll buy them back through the market, so they're reprinting money all the time and certainly supporting the market, and this is globally. 2 individual situations happening very quickly. So my daughter had a house sold, job done, everything like that. Their private valuations come back 25 grand down because they're hedging or they're kicking down. And the last one is my cousin, straightforward buy-to-let mortgage, all sorted that, done, dropped down because valuation again was dropped down. So markets are very, very precarious at the moment.
Thanks, William. Ben, you're followed by Nick Cook.
Good morning guys, Ben Golding from Utility Warehouse. Now last week I was, as you know, I was in hospital, but having a chat with the nurse beforehand, she obviously said to me, what do you do? So I said, you know how people have to pay for gas, electricity and other bills, and it's going through the roof. Well, I help people pay less for them. We need to chat, she said. And then she stated me and I was away with the fare. No idea. However, we did actually have a quick chat over the weekend. And she was paying £280 a month just for her gas and electricity. She's now switched to UW with her gas, electricity, home phone, broadband, mobile phone, boiler cover, and she's now paying £194 for the lot, saving her well over £1,000. So, this week I'm looking for people you know that want to save money with the UK's most trusted utility provider, especially nurses. Ben Golding, Utility Warehouse.
Ben with the greatest shut up line. Thank you, Ben. Nick, you're followed by Matt.
Thank you. Well, good morning. I've not been here for a few weeks. I thought I'd just give you a very brief reminder of what I do. Remind myself of what I do for a living. I'm a structural engineer, as you know. I spend a lot of time doing structural inspections for people who are buying houses, people who want to be sure that the house they're going to buy hasn't got any nasty structural problems before they sign their life away on the dotted line. I do a structural design service for people who want, homeowners normally, people who want to take a wall down, they want to create a big room out of two small rooms, and perhaps they want to build a loft conversion. I do all that kind of stuff. So I'm looking for structural design work, structural inspection work. I mean, Nick Cook and Associates. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nick. Matt Mary is next, followed by Stuart Smallcombe.
Good morning, everyone. Matt Barry from Blue Seraph. It's nice to be back. I've not been here for a little while. Just to remind those that sort of know and those that don't, I run a creative agency here in Brentwood. We service a whole range of clients, from some of the world's leading brands to up-and-coming startups locally and nationally. So we offer a whole full range of branding, design, and digital services to help support your brand, your services, your product, and help promote them and give them the professional look and feel that they need to attract to their target market. So if you've got any needs on that side, if you're looking at events or any other promotional campaigns that are coming up, please do get in touch and we can see how we can help. So thanks very much. Lovely to be back. Lovely to see some new faces. I look forward to meeting a few of you. And I'll send you. Slowly.
Thank you, Matt. Stuart, you're followed by Emma.
Morning everybody, Stuart from LG Networks. We deal with all aspects of business telecommunications. Some of the best business that I've got through networking groups, such as our wonderful group here, is where we've been able to actually not necessarily get an introduction to an end client, but actually get an introduction to a partner that we can work with long term and build a long-term synergy. So some of the best times that's worked out, and the sort of people I'd like you to look out for, please, are businesses allied to us. So not the same as us, but where we have a good synergy. Commercial estate agents helping companies relocate all the time. If you know any, that would be good. So commercial relocation firms, any helping doing the actual physical lift and shift, that would be great. Any electrical contractors that are doing big office fit outs, that would be wonderful for us. Office fit out design firms that are doing the actual office installation, and as well as the desks and the chairs, the guys that are doing the office furniture. If you know people in any of those businesses, that would be a great introduction for me, please. That's Stuart at LG Networks. Thank you.
Thank you, Stuart. Very good. Stuart, you're followed by Emma, who will be followed by Paul Balloon.
Good morning, everyone. Emma Taylor from Keller Williams, not your average estate agent. Price property comes to market, hits a new record high for the third consecutive month by 1.6%. And the 2022 market continues to set new milestones for price and activity levels, far exceeding last year's frenzy during the stamp duty holiday. As you know, last week I mentioned I put a property on the market. We had the open day on Monday. We had 30 viewings, and we've had 5 offers, and we've gone to best and finals, which has well exceeded the guide price of 900,000. So the market is still moving, and I think with surveyors, if you meet them then, give them all the information, it can avoid the down valuations. I've had several like that recently where they've gone above and beyond the value, and there is ways around it, definitely. That's me, Emma Taylor, Keller Williams. Thank you.
Thank you, Emma. Paul, followed by Brian.
Good morning. Paul Balloon, Red by Limited Communications Agency. Can you help businesses
quickly and effectively. I want to talk to you this morning about one of the parts of the service we provide, which is called live chat. It involves sitting down for a cup of tea with a client at the outset and having a live chat, which enables me to understand the business so I can improve the way they communicate about it. Be that in improving their web content, writing blogs, creating presentations, press releases, brochures, in fact anything which the client might use to communicate to their clients, to their staff, to their investors, to the media, whoever. So if you know anybody that needs a bit of a hand in improving the way business communicates, get them to contact me and we'll have a live chat. Thank you very much, Paul DeLue, Red Line Limited Communications Agency.
Thanks, Paul. Brian is followed by Vincent.
Good morning, everybody. Brian Painter, hypnotherapist, Pilgrim Hypnotherapy. The fear of flying people coming in, this was holidays on the horizon. But the most serious one I had this week was a young man who, 2 years ago, crashed his car into a tree. It was a write-off. He was unconscious. He had to be pulled out of the cutout of his car. His passenger was virtually unscathed, just a few cuts and bruises. He came to me because the past 2 years he's been having flashbacks, post-traumatic stress disorder. And he can't get into a car, and so even here in a car, he will get a flashback. So we haven't actually started therapy yet, but we had a consultation and he's due to see me early next week. So it's Brian Painter, therapist, Pilgrim Hypnotherapy. Help is just a phone call away. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Vincent is followed by Terry.
Good morning, everyone. Vincent from Speakprint, following on from Sarah's Ed slot last week, where she used her TEASE acronym to remember key points for a meeting. I thought I'd have a go too. So, you think it, we think it. Don't worry, I'm going to get it all in. Y stands for you're in good hands. We see your job through from start to finish. O stands for the only printing company that gives you a Vince. How am I doing? U, a lot to do. U stands for understanding the client's requirements. We listen. T stands for tea, coffee and biscuits, served at anyone brave enough to visit the war zone that is Ganshill Village. How long have I got?
Not long.
Blimey. H stands for, haven't really thought this through and I'm about to run out of time. And I, N and K stands for ink, which we do once you've thought it. Thank you.
Do they ever stop shelling your place so that you can get people out? Thank you, Vincent. Terry, you're next, followed by Tina.
Good morning, everybody. Terry May, TM Law Solicitors. Had quite a few landlord and tenant matters lately where landlords have wanted their property back, principally to sell them actually. But a lot of them, in the throes of getting the property back, have also had rent arrears. So for me, I get a possession case, and then after that's finished, generally we pursue the rent arrears. So that's a really good business for me. So if you know anyone in that position where they want to sell the property, can't because they've got a tenant in there, there's always a way of removing them. There's out the window. No, there's always a way of removing them, and I'll be delighted to have a chat with them, advise them the best way that we can do it, and also afterwards, as I say, to recover. And I've got 2 or 3 at the moment. I'm actually just about to sue Basildon Council because they gave a rent guarantee and have been a bit naughty about repaying the rent guarantee for the arrears. So I'm quite looking forward to that. So, that's Terry Mason at TM Law. Thank you.
More surprising for me. Tina, you're next, and you're followed by Scott.
Good morning, everybody. My name's Tina. My company's called Liberty Executive Services. I offer a secretarial and admin service. Now the weather's changing and companies are getting back to more or less normal. They'd like to take their staff out or even their clients out for an event. That's where I can help. So I can sort out an event for you, make sure it runs smoothly. So if you know anybody that wants to take their clients out, cake shooting, go-karting, bowling, cricket, golf, down the pub, please pass on my details and I'll be happy to help. So that's me, Tina, Liberty Executive Services. I'm not a 9 to 5, I'm start to finish.
Thanks, Tina. A suggestion for croquet? Jane, you're next.
Now.
Now.
Hello
everybody. Jane Mallion, rhymes with stallion, from the English Green Tea Company. Do you remember when they started giving prizes at junior school, even if you just took part in the race? Well, we don't approve of that where our jam is concerned. The new batch has arrived. Does it deserve its labels? I want you to be our taste testers. We have rejected batches before. They're made for us because all jams for consumers have to go through metal detectors, and we don't have the machinery, so it's made for us to our recipe. Please pass it around going that way. Please taste it, no double dipping, and we'll see at the end if it deserves its English green tea label. And to give you a heads up, it's strawberry with elderflower. Goes very nicely with scones or scones. Thank you, Jane Mallion, the English Green Tea Company. We'll see if they get their badges, if there's any left.
Jane, thank you very much. You're with a nice taste in my mouth. With a nice taste in my mouth, I stand up to address you, aged 5 and 10 more. My 60-second presentations, I should at least say that we're solicitors, based in Wickford, and that I specialise in contract law of all types. I should then highlight a particular area of my work, and even emphasise how good I am at it. Then, I should specify the type of client I'm looking for, and the more specific, the better. Then I should have a tagline. If you want that little bit more, come to help, tea and more. This week, however, I must warn you that I'll be on holiday for the next 2 weeks. But save them up for when I get back. Thank you. That is the end of the members and presentations. Paul, give us 60 seconds.
Right, good morning everyone. Just before I start, Jane, there's a bit of a problem with the jam. Mine was actually broken, the seal was broken before it got to me.
Oh, I should reject it. Or give you the jar to take home.
Maybe one that's sealed would be nicer anyway. Right. Okay, so I'll just start now. Has your business or anyone that you know ever had a problem with a bit of a pinch financially or getting some cash flow squeezes? Would you think you'd like to actually release money that's actually held on your debtor list, perhaps? Or have you maybe thought, if we can just get a bit of money and capital to do this new venture or expand in a particular way, that would really help us? What you need is actually a financial institution that has a great pedigree. So what you'll find is that the name above the door will be Barclays, and the key to that door is Paul Adalamy. I'm Business Development Manager for Barclays in London. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Paul. Okay. That is the end of the 60-second round. So over to Scott for the award of the Oscar.
Okie dokie. So I won this prize last week by giving out some cookies. Jane, that was terrific. It's delicious, but I can't award it for that today. So I'm very sorry. Those of merit I thought were excellent, that scored 9 out of 10 on my checklist. Matt, yours was great. Paul, yours was great. My kicks and pass for the day, incredibly important. Mike Skinner's was good, but Stuart, just because you also said how wonderful EPF was, and perfect referrals. So, Stu.
Right. Thanks very much, Scott. Well done, Stuart. I thoroughly agree with that, because it's making us understand what it is that we've got, the thought process that we've got to apply to get references, and it's something we should all think about. Right. Meeting secretary.
I haven't had time to do it yet.
Right. Scott will have that postponed. So that's Ben then.
Yeah,
get on with it.
Okay, before we introduce today's 10 minute speaker, just give you an update on the upcoming speakers for the next few weeks. So next week, the 12th of May, we have Sarah doing the 10-minute presentation. I'll be doing the Ed slot. On the 19th, Stuart, you'll be down to do the 10 minutes, and it will either be Nick or myself doing the Ed slot there, depending on the day. On the 26th, we have John Howe doing the 10 minutes. John Hammond, sorry, doing the 10 minutes, and Vince, you'll be doing the education slot that day. There's no meeting then on the 2nd of June. for the Queen's Jubilee being a bank holiday. So if you do come down, you're very welcome to, but you'll be on your own. Then moving on to the 9th of June, Jane will be doing the 10-minute presentation, 9th of June, and I'll be doing the education block. So on to today's speaker, we have Terry Malin, who's very, very kind. He did step in last minute as well for us. So TM Law, Nature of Business Solicitors, position in the company, West Wing, and the area and location is pretty much anywhere now. So, a couple of things about Terry. So, Terry's best day out, his first and his last day in the Scouts. He got asked to leave on his first day. Lots of got through there. An unusual incident in Terry's life was being a witness in a dangerous death case. Ooh, a movie recommended and why? The Italian Job. Because you're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off. And finally, a satisfying achievement, being an honorary member of the Brentwood Scouts group. So without further ado, Terry Malin.
Thanks very much, Ben. Thanks for that intro. I thought today I'd talk to you about something that's very close to my heart, but it's also really important to all of you, because you're all trying to run your own business. And you're not doing it for the fun of it, or some of you might be, right? But hopefully you're doing it to make some money, and there's nothing more frustrating than doing the work, providing the service, sometimes even providing goods, and not getting paid for it. It's really frustrating, it's aggravation you could do without. So I just thought I'd have a little quiz with you, see what you remember from the last several sessions that I've done on this. So we'll have a little quiz. There's a nice bottle of Malbec waiting there for the winner, so that's a bit of incentive for you.
Can I get help from Aidan?
You can.
Yeah.
SME in the UK at the minute are owed a staggering amount of money in overdue payments. So that's businesses like us around the table. £26.3 billion owed to small businesses. Not us, obviously, but small businesses. So hopefully these questions will just alert you, make you think about it, and not only you, but the people you deal with. And some of you here around the table I have dealings with. And now that you know what you're supposed to do, it's in here, we get on just lovely. So, number one, how soon should you leave it before chasing money owed to you? I'll give you 3 options: a week, a month, or none of the above. Okay. Number 2, what information should your invoice contain? I don't mean everything, but what's the essentials on there that should be on there? And this is a biggie for me, because the number of times I get an invoice from someone and it ain't right, and I have to put it right, is too much. Number 3, what's the amount of compensation you can claim from someone who owes you money? Yeah, there's an amount of compensation you can claim. Anyone know what it is? Sort of tied in with that, when is the compensation all over, the overall amount you're owed, like it's £15,000, or is it per invoice? What's the amount of interest you might be able to claim back? In fact, it's a rate today, but it's going to go up today. So, but anyway, what's the rate of interest you can get back? It's quite handsome, actually.
What was that to? There's still 3.
That's 5, Brian. Number 5, Brian. Don't worry about the numbers. I'll go through it. Don't worry about it. What should we do if a customer does not pay you after you chase them for payment? And there's a bonus point here. There's a bonus point after this. Yes. Can I say? No clues. What, apart from the reason you want your money, why should you chase the debts quickly? Why should you chase them up quickly? Apart from the fact you obviously want your money. There are some other very good reasons why. Melissa will know. I expect you to get all these right, Melissa. And then lastly, see how much you were listening, how much money are SMEs in the UK owed to the nearest billion? Right? So simple. So these are things you should all know, okay? Because not only have I been telling you week after week after week after week, and I know that after a while you go, but you're running your own business, and you don't want to be one of these people that are owed 26.3 billion, so number 7 or 8 that was, by the way.